My name is Pauline Adhiambo Onguko Dongo, like 4 names, but I love Pauline Onguko. Pauline is a director, Governor Service Delivery Unit in the county government of Siaya, and also the outgoing director of the national chair, that is for the outgoing, the government. 26 counties had service delivery units, so I was also the chair of those service delivery units. Pauline is also a director of Motisha Adada initiative. This is actually a program that brings on board young girls, mentors them, and actually sees to it that they reach where they would want to reach, and especially the rural urban, because Siaya is more of rural urban. It's not like cosmopolitan like Nairobi. I am also the patron of young empowered ladies. I'm so passionate about that because back in the year 2000, I was still very young at that particular point. I decided just to come up with a group of young girls. I realized there's a lot of potential in them. So we started the Young Empowered Ladies, and it was a transitional move. So these ladies right now, most of them have graduated, some are married, and they're running their own organizations, but then I remain as a patron. Pauline also is an organizing secretary for our professional groups. We like being in professional groups called Siaya Women Caucus. This is where all the professionals, we meet as women in different professional levels, and we are able to sit and talk things, politics, economics, and then we're also able to chart our way in terms of sitting at the table. Like right now, we've just come from an election. And one of the things that we are doing in Siwaka, we call it Siwaka, is that we're asking ourselves, where is the space of the woman at the county level and at the national level, because that's really where I thrive from. And I would say I hold so many other titles that if I was to stay, it would be the reason being that anywhere I am, I feel I must make sense. So I'm also humbled when others recognize that in me. Even politically, I vied as a member of county assembly, and despite the fact that I was unsuccessful, and somebody would ask why I went for that post, because I love the touch of the grassroots. I love that touch at the grassroots. So I think even politically, I want to appreciate the fact that many people have identified that. Most of them even said, go for the governor. And I said, fine, no problem, 2027 is coming. Now, I happen to be a firstborn in a family of 6. And I grew up from a very humble, I would say humble, not so much down, hapo katikati, because my parents were privileged to have also gone to school. So my dad was a civil servant, and my mom is a retired nurse. But I can tell you, being a firstborn, I grew up under a lot of pressure. Pressure number 1 was to perform. So that every time I had to be, you must do this to make it happen for the others. And so I think I must have grown out of viboko. I was one child, I would say I was beaten while growing up. But what I would say challenged me is how my parents viewed me. And I think they were my first motivation. Because I remember my mom used to say that you need to get to a point where even if you get married one day, you will be also able to support your own family without relying on anyone. And it didn't come without challenges. I must say I saw my parents' pain. There was a time my parents were not able to pay up some debt somewhere, and I just came from school and I found all our house being auctioned, vitu zinaenda. And I think at some point it almost demotivated me. I was like, really, is there a way in which we can be cushioned from such kind of shame? For me, that was shame. But on the flip side of it, I said, if they're still able to take me to school, I will make it in school. So at the primary level, I went to Nakuru Flamingo Primary School. So 1999 was, I think, my darkest year. That's the time I would say we saw like the world was going to crash. My father was working in Nakuru. My mother was in Kisumu. So it's a story that I think even ran on media. At Kapsoit, there was an accident, and it went out that everybody had died. So when my mother left, I was the only one working in my family, and my follower sister, the rest were still in school. So when my mother reached that particular place, my father had been taken to the hospital. But I think she still had this faith that he's going to make it. So he was taken to ICU. He made it in ICU, but he had to be taken to Nairobi. So for close to 1 year, you can imagine, close to 1 year, we stayed in uncertainty. I was now the mother and the father. My sister was in school, and we felt like the whole world has just shattered. And I want to say this to everyone, that such kind of moments, when they come, I now understand why people say depression is real. I was not seeing hope at the end of it. And I saw like my world had just crumbled down. So for that year, I also lost a child. So I always call it a dark year for me, but also it is the year that now made me know that if you trust in God, you can make it. Because I pulled myself from that angle, and I always say it's by miracle that we survived that year. So my father came to be around 2000, and so it's 2000 that young empowered ladies came on board, because I said if I was a lady at that particular point, I was able to put our family together. I was able to shield our children from the fact that all is not lost. I was able to say that, okay, fine, this has happened. We can't undo it, but we're going to come out of it. And we came out of it. So I think those are some of the challenges I went through while growing up. Moments that I could not explain, whether there's going to be life after it. There's no one who was, and I can tell you, that is the time that you really know who your friends are. We called a fundraiser, only for the fundraiser to give us 60,000 shillings. And in the 60,000 shillings, the hotel where we fundraised, we had to pay about 20 or 30,000. So I told myself, Pauline, I must work hard. I will never allow myself to reach a point where we have to do a fundraiser to make my parent be alive. From Flamingo Primary School, I went to Menengai High School. Menengai High School was in Nakuru, and I think at Menengai High School, one of the things that I loved was a mixed school. This is what motivated me. You see, in a mixed school, there's that competition. Any dem ameshinda, ni chali ameshinda, you know, it's a lady. So I remember one time we had results out, and I was the best in English. And that excited me. I went to class and told all those guys there that none of you can beat me in Kiswahili, in English, that is. And it is also at Menengai High School that I got one of my teachers, Mr. Miano, who told me that don't tell yourself that you're a Luo, you don't know Kiswahili. Today I speak very fluent Kiswahili. So I want to say, while in school, I got motivators, both male and female at that particular point. So from Menengai High School, I started also from a very humble beginning again. I was called to go and do teaching at Maseno, to go and I was admitted at Maseno, but I opted to do nursing. This was brought by that passion in me that I felt, having come from such a background of pain, I wanted to study where I'm able to actually also pain with others, but then be a solution. Remember in 1999, I was paining. I had no one to be a solution to, neither was I a solution to myself. Maybe thanks to my husband, because I think that time I was married. So when now I went to do nursing, I started with a diploma, then I went for the degree course, and then went for public health. So I'm actually a nurse, registered nurse, and also a public health specialist. From there, I went and did project management. I also went there and did counseling, and counseling for me was key. I'm a practicing and a professional counselor, and I think so many people right now owe it to the fact that I've been able to bring even families together. But it's because I went now for that course. Because I realized back in 1999, if I didn't talk to myself well, maybe I would have thrown my hands off and said, maisha yetu imeharibikia hapa. But I think talking to myself and being able to have hope that there is hope at the end of it made me move on. So I've done quite a number of courses related to this, and especially on women enhancement. Why did I pick up on women? Because I've done gender mainstreaming. I always say women are nakumat, if I may use that. They're all under one roof. They are there to see the family moving on. They are there to even make themselves to be relevant in the society. They are there also to make a name. So women do almost like double of what men do. Not that because men are against women, but it's because the way God brought us up, we are more of emotional, attached to issues. So you see, like for me, I can multitask and do 3 or 4 things at the same time. So I think that is what made me now take up that course. This has also made me shine, I would say it so much. I'm one lady who has represented this country where it was least expected. One of them, we had a conference in Ghana. So some doctors went to present my paper, okay, of course with my permission, but then the video, when they showed the video, then these sponsors saw the lady, that was me, and they said, we want this lady to come and stand by this paper. So going to Ghana, that was my first trip outside this country. At a very fair young age, I think I was about 27 or something. I thought I was going to meet fellow young people, but it was a meeting of professionals. So entering that new room and receiving a standing ovation, everyone there had big titles. Actually, it was another motivator that catapulted me that yes, it's possible then to make it in life. Because if I can come here and present a paper before all these people, I've also been able to go outside this country by virtue of the work that I do. At the service delivery unit, there's a lot to do within the county governments, also with the governors. So I'm also a lady who has been able to represent my country in the US when talking about issues of peer-to-peer, when talking about women enhancement. So I think I pride myself in the fact that I may have come from a humble background, went through a tough time, almost lost hope, but then picked up. And when I picked up now, I superseded even my own expectation. Because today, from where I sit, I don't think there's anywhere I cannot stand and fit in. Because if you look at project management, I can. If you take me professionally, I will. If you take me politically, I will. So I think that's one motivator. And then I was not going to miss to appreciate my mentor, who did one thing that eventually made me say that, kuna kitu ngumu. She's called Dr. Lucy Matu. So we're in this very big conference, and she's the one presenting actually. Like a PA, so I prepared a presentation, and I'm all ready. Now she asked me when we were in the vehicle that, Pauline, is it possible for you to do a presentation in this forum? I said, Daktari, everybody there, the professors, I can't. Then she knew my potential. So what she did during lunchtime, she decided to disappear, and she was mteja. So this moderator comes to me and asks me, Pauline, where is your boss? She needs to come and do a presentation. I said, I have the presentation, yes, but then I'm looking for her. We looked for her, it was 2. So what happens to the moderator? He goes to the floor and says, now it is time for Elizabeth Glaser Foundation to present, and we're going to ask Pauline to come and present. And you know, it is that moment, everybody is sat, the presentation is up there. So I walk to that place and I tell myself, Pauline, you're gonna make it. You're just gonna make it. So I went there and presented. I was surprised. Everybody stood up, and that's a powerful presentation. Somehow in my mind, I was like, why did she do this? Why did she do this? So at around 4 p.m., she resurfaced. So I went to ask her, Doc, what was the meaning of that? Then she said, you know what? I knew that when I throw you in the middle of the waters, you will have to find your way to swim to the shore. So that was a great mentor. And from there on, I looked at life positively, that it is possible to make it. You only need to remove the fear, because there is confidence inside you. If you don't remove it from inside you, nobody will know who you are. Nobody will ever know you existed. So I think this is what now has pushed me. It has pushed me, and I can tell you for sure right now, I think I lead so many groups by virtue of I've pushed myself to that level and say it is possible. If it happened to me in Ghana, I was able to do it. It happened the other day with Dr. Lucy Matu. Then here I am. I can do it. My passion is just to see things work, for someone to succeed. And especially when I talk about women participation and empowerment issues, I do it with a lot of passion. And this is why I can tell you, any girl, even in this country, who comes to me and tells me that, Pauline, I would love to do this bat, I stop that girl at the bat. I tell her, don't say the bat, just move on. So long as you have injected it in you that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. And I can count so many young girls that I've seen. One girl had dropped out of school in standard 8, not because she wanted, she was an orphan. So what happened is that when she came and joined Young Empowered Ladies, where I'm the patron, she realized quite a number of ladies there had done Form 4, others were going to campus. So she came and told me that I want to go back to school. So I asked her, how many years did you drop out? 4 clean years. So I asked her, utaitwa mama ukirudi shule? But she told me, allow me to go to school, so long as you can pay for my fees. I can tell you, this girl is now in the States. She forgot about the fact, alipoenda shule, everybody was saying, hey, nah, mama wame to join. She went back to school, and today she has excelled. So my passion is seeing somebody telling herself that it is possible. It is possible. No matter what I see around me, it is possible, because you have to push yourself from within. Not from you just wake up one day and say, I have seen, let me give an example of politicians. Maybe I've seen the wife to Obama, Michelle. One day I'll be some. Once there's that positive energy in you as an individual, nothing stops you. Challenges will come, that is true. And actually the challenges make you. I've given you my story, why today I pride myself. When Dr. Lucy threw me in the middle of that water, today I can stand confidently. And I forgot to say, that's why Miss President Siaya, out of the 50 participants, today I am here in the top 6. Why? It's because I told myself I can push myself. Push yourself an extra mile to succeed, and you will. Success is the positive energy that draws an individual from a point of unknown to a point of known to ensure that you make it. Because when you want to succeed, you must take a risk. You know, even the best of the best will always tell you they took a risk. You wake up and tell yourself, I'll make it. And you do not know what's ahead of you, but you take that risk. So it's the positive energy you draw from yourself, and where Christians call it faith, you draw it from yourself, and then you push yourself towards it, and then take the risk and move on. So that when you meet challenges along the way, you handle them because you had already made up your mind you're going to make it. That area that I would say is a highlight is that I've been able to mentor. I was mentored, and I've been able to mentor quite a number of ladies. It excites me to meet them in different places and somebody says, you spoke to us in this conference, I got motivated. You came and counseled me, I got motivated. You came to our school and gave a talk, I got motivated. So that's a key highlight. I can be able, there is no, I would say 3/4 of the places that I go to, I will always find there's either somebody I met at a conference and I said something, somebody saw me in media and something motivated them. So that's a highlight. And then also, I come from, I have 3 lovely children. And all of them, I can tell you all of them, 2 of them are in campus, and then the other one, the last born, is actually in class 8. And what motivates me is that he says, he's a boy, and he says, I motivate him. So those are some of the areas when you sit down and look at success, because most people think success is just about I have so much money or this, but I can tell you when you look at some of those highlights in your life, where you've turned around things, where you've motivated even your own family, you've motivated even yourself. I've told you, come 2027, watch this lady. I would go for a seat that may even surprise you, because I believe it's possible to be able to push yourself an extra mile, but with positivity. Because you can also push yourself, but from the negative side of it. Yeah, where you regret everything, you're complaining and murmuring, you are looking around, everything is negative. That is still negative energy, pushing yourself towards looking at doom. And that's why depression at times comes in, because you're pushing yourself, but from the energy point of view. But when you want to succeed, you push yourself from the positive point of view, so that at the end of the day, what you're looking at as end product is something positive. One of the things that I want to tell young girls as they're coming up is that, one, this world has people who are also young as you. So whatever you're going through, somebody has gone through or is going through it. The only thing is the steps that people make as you go through that, you go. I see of late quite some girls who get themselves in relationships that end up so tragic, and it pains us because it's because you make yourself vulnerable. So I want to tell the young girls, the potential is inside you. We look up to even the other women who've made it. Even right now in this country, we see quite a number of women in big positions, whether appointment or politically. So I want to encourage this young girl. Your background does not define you. If I looked at 1999, it wouldn't have defined me today. If I looked at it and stopped at there. It doesn't matter the background you're coming from. You could be coming from a very poor family. You could be coming from a broken home. What is inside you will drive you to positivity. Just look at it positively and say that you're going to make it. Because remember, it's you who will make it to even change your family. Number 2, I want to tell the young girls, it is possible. It is possible. Go to school. One of the things that I want to encourage young girls is go to school. Just like I give the example of that girl who told herself that doesn't matter, I dropped out in Form 4, but I'm still going. I dropped out in Class 8, but I'll still go back to school. Another area that I want to talk about the young girls, please speak out. If you don't speak out when something, you're feeling the pressure is too much, then you'll find yourself now either speaking to the wrong person or losing it altogether. Like if you look at this story of this young girl who committed suicide in school because of some money that was said she had stolen, but then she wrote in the note that nobody believed in her. Please speak out to somebody else, because if she did speak to somebody else, maybe the person would have now known and would have come in. So go out and speak. The last, but love yourself. I forgot to say, one of the motivating factors, love yourself. Don't let people bring you down. You are not defined by people. You are not defined by your environment. You are not defined by your past. You are defined by yourself. The good book, the Bible, says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So when you wake up in the morning, speak to yourself in the mirror. Even right now, I do it as a woman. I stand in the mirror in the morning and I speak to myself, Pauline, I'm going out. I look at myself and say, I think I'm hot and I'm going to make it. And wherever I'm going, even whether I'm going to school, whether I'm going to work, whether I'm going... So I want to speak to the other girl. Hii pressure kuambiwa ati mimi watu wanipendi, anza kujipenda. Unapojipenda, people will still find you where you are, because the potential is right inside you. So today, we are looking up to the young girls to come and also give their story the way we are giving our story. Look for a mentor. Mentors are people who've made it. Mentors are people who are able to hold you together. Mentors will give you direction. Mentors will even rebuke you. Because remember, Dr. Lucy was actually rebuking me, because she was telling me, go present, I'm still looking for excuses here and there. So look for a mentor. Somebody you look up to and will be able to tell you the truth and will be able to push you towards positive energy. So carry that positive energy, and I know you'll make it. This world needs people. You are a solution to the problems in this world. you are actually the innovator we are looking for. So you as the young girl, you are the innovator. So if you start getting discouraged or you don't work towards positive energy, you are disappointing the world, you are disappointing yourself, you are disappointing your family, you are disappointing your generation. So basically for the young girls, just pick it up. And we are so proud of them that have actually taken the risk and are actually shining. Be the movers and shakers. For Miss President was an eye-opener in various ways. We are here different age brackets. Actually, this is where now you say the rubber meets the road, because when we got in one, we had very young girls, mid, and of course our age as not very elderly women, but women. One of the eye openers is the update and learning that we get here. We've been able to be taken through some of the assignments that the president does that some of us did not know, and especially things like national security. You know, for some of us, national security, you only think of police, you only think of prisons. Those are the things you think of. Not thinking of it from the point of view that you are the first police and you're the first security. You're the first security to yourself and your environment. You're the first police to yourself. So I think those are some of the areas, and issues on governance, issues of the women inequality. Some of the examples we got here was, some are so paining. Of course, we got very many examples of people who are sharing their personal stories where they have come out. You know, like the stigma or the stereotype of a woman who is in politics, the first question you're asked, who is your husband? And nobody asks the man, who is your wife? So we got some real stories. So I think for Miss President, it's an eye-opener that it is time that we went out and actually even did civic education, so that people understand that also girls go to school and ultimately become women. We don't become women because of just marriage. We don't just become women because we want to give birth so that somebody would ask you, where are your children or something. And nobody loves divorce at the end of the day. That is something people want to condemn. So one of the areas I've picked up myself as my project is on mental health and in relation to women. Quite a number of women are going through trying moments, and so I've picked it as my project post Miss President. Another area I've picked up very clearly is the missing voice of the young person. So I'll also be writing a paper on where is this missing voice. Are the voices of the young people muted? Are those voices actually not being listened to? Or actually the voices are there but they have refused to speak up? So that if they are muted, who is muting the voice of the young person? Maybe because we are not involving them in decision making. If they are not being listened to, who is this who is supposed to listen to them and is not listening? And if they are quiet, we are supposed to go to the young ones and ask them, why are you quiet? Because this is a digital era. So I think those are the areas I've picked up. So post Miss President, I'll be quite busy, and I've told you I ran several projects, but the one Motisha Adada is one that I'm so passionate about, because Motisha Adada, even during the COVID-19 period, I did a proposal and received funding and for the rural women. So I think Motisha Adada, even from the name, it was actually to motivate a sister, so that wherever this sister is, despite their age group, we are able to motivate that particular sister. If you want to get me, my hashtag is Motisha Adada. I have a Facebook page also, and my Facebook page right now, Miss President, things are really flowing on it. And also I run an office. I have actually a full-fledged office with some few staffs in Siaya, in a place called Adhiambo Bay. So I look forward to actually getting to a point where we'll have testimonials even from these particular target groups that we have met. But I think there's so much in this country that needs to be solved. And I need to say this as a wind-up. Everyone thinks of success as working in an office, that you have to sit in an office. I want to tell the young generation that innovators, entrepreneurs are people to watch out. So young girls go, and even young boys go for innovative ideas. Like right now I do fish caging. Who would have known that a woman can succeed in fish caging? That if you see me back at home in my trap, getting into the lake, going to see how the fish caging is being done, and I look at myself 2 or 3 years from now, I'll be money. Because you see fish caging now what we are doing it in large scale. We started a small scale, we are doing it in large scale, and we brought ourselves as some few women who vied. We'll start exporting. So it came as an innovative thinking that, okay, why would I be staying around the lake and waiting for some guys to bring for me fish? Why don't we also venture there? So I want to tell the young person, entrepreneurship, innovation, those are the things that now will make you succeed. When COVID came, we learned that people can work from home, make money online. So right now, this is what we are telling young people. Don't wait until you say unemployment because none other co-employ. We have quite a chunk of people who've gone to school, who are qualified, and you're in that space with them. So if they manage to succeed, go to the office, good enough. If you're not in the office, can you make something with the space where you are? And I challenge the young girls, go to Motisha Adada. We are able to help you if you need any help, even in terms of skills, even in terms of helping you see how to write a proposal to get funding, or seed money.